What's up, YouTube? So I'm doing a video today to talk about my experiences with passing. So hold on, I'm trying to do this. Just hold on, give me a second. What the fuck, man? Trying to adjust the brightness real quick. Okay, so hold up. Let me decrease the brightness. Okay, so I'm making a video today on my experiences with passing. So this relates to racial passing. So I just want to delve into it. It's midnight right now where I'm at, so just want to belt out this quick video. So growing up, as young as 8 years old, I remember being told I looked white by a classmate as young as 8 years old. So me having my look, my phenotype, and getting these broad. Auntie Luana? Sorry. Me being as young as 8 years old and getting these broad range of different ethnicities, left me confused. It did leave me confused because I was like, and I'm adopted too, so I was like young, coming home and really wondering like, why am I being told I look like all this stuff when I'm not, why am I being told I don't look black when I am, all that stuff, or half black, I was really questioning these things, and really questioning these things in my life at a young age too, at a very young age. And remember coming home and asking my mom a bunch of questions, and I really back then really didn't get the answers I was looking for, but nonetheless I still continue to receive such mixed and differentiating opinions on what people thought I was, so first instance of when I did end up passing, so I was in the movie theaters, right? So back then, my dad used to sneak me and my brother into the movie theaters because it was expensive for him and he didn't want to pay, or he just didn't want to pay for us because we was kids, something like that. So he used to sneak us in the movie theater through the back entrance, and as we got older, we continued to do that. Sneak into the movie theaters, me and him as children without paying, and there was this specific one instance where I was trying to sneak into this horror movie. It was R-rated, and the weirdest thing is you expect other people that are black to know you're mixed with black. I have black, right? But that was never my case growing up. And so I remember just going into this movie theater, right? Sneaking in. As I was walking up to the door, one of the guys asked me, "Hey, where's your ticket?" And then me being like 10 years old, I hesitated because I didn't have a ticket. I didn't know what lie to come up with. But then this clearly black, phenotypically black guy looked at me and was like, "Oh, isn't that your family, And it was a family going by that was just entering, and this family looked white, they looked like white people, but they were just Hispanic, and I remember saying, "Yeah, that's my family." And So that's how I ended up sneaking into this R-rated movie that was a horror movie. And that was my first instance of passing, And, I never tried to pass in my life at all, to be honest. I never tried to. But assumptions were still made about me, And so, like, being mistaken for varying ethnicities, I remember just being in school, high school, like, people constantly asking me, like, was I Mexican or Cuban or something like that. And then I remember, like, kids, like, not believing I was half black or whatever, or just was black in general. And kids be like, oh, no, you're not black, stuff like that. And then it was at some points when they saw my family, they used to make jokes in lunchtime of whether I was black or white, And then the racist children. And then, like, I remember, like, so the fact that all these occurrences happened in my life, it just left me with this, like, this big question, like, could I actually pull it off, though? Like, could I actually, like, end up passing, because I remember, like, sometimes I watch this movie, Pinky, made in 1949, and it's not just the act of passing. It's like she totally escapes her life, and that can be a complete catalyst in itself, so, like, just to escape a life you hate, and be able to really be successful and gain momentum and, like, really have a whole new life just from doing simple things, such as telling a little white lie or telling a lie and saying something, like, pretending to be something else that you're not. And, and yeah, it's not even that, just the fact of just lying, but just the whole idea of just escaping a life you hate, is really, like, it's good to fantasize sometimes, that's good to fantasize about, but never in my life have I tried to pass, and that's been my experience, At one point, I do get white a lot for whatever reason, even though I think they fucking crazy, but I end up getting white a lot for whatever reason. I remember I was talking to this one guy that was at this restaurant in my city. I was like, oh, bro, guess what I am? He was like, trying to guess. He was saying different Hispanic ethnicities, and then he was like, oh, are you white? And I was like, no, bro. I was taking it back. I was like, no, I'm not white. And then, so I feel like I'm going to do a little test one of these days and, like, just say, I'm going to probably leave out the fact that I'm black altogether and see where it gets me, and say I'm something like, instead of Salvadoran and black, I'm like, I'm Salvadoran and Italian, something like that. See where it gets me. See if I can pull it off, because there's been so many instances of this, and it's so crazy. Like, I get so many things. So many varying ethnicities, and I just want to see if I can pull it off. But I really see where these movies come from that were made in the 20th century, about people just essentially escaping a harsh life or a life they just didn't want, and that can be reinventing themselves, and that can be something that's so, like, I know, that could be a novelty or something like that, I bet some people just want to be somebody different, at least for one time in their life, a different person and not them. Yeah, but that's been my experiences, and there's been so many instances of this. Like, I'll be standing right next to my family, and people be like, "Oh, are you guys together?" Like, it happens all the time. Like, especially when I'm with my mom. Like, people like making like weird faces and like staring at me and her. You know, but it's crazy. There's so many things. I've gotten so many things in life, and it's like, could somebody really put off like reinventing themselves and like gaining a whole new life? But I've never tried to be something I've not. I've always show people straight up what I am, you know, even though people have made like all types of assumptions, you know, and that has just been my experience with passing. I don't know. I saw a video and they say you inadvertently pass for something else. I'm like, but I don't really know because I get so many things, you know. Literally so many. I've gotten so many things under the sun. Like, crazy. Oh, it was also this one instance. So I literally have no clue. It was this one instance where I was getting checked out of the hospital, and my mom came and picked me up, and literally had my afro out. I had my afro out, everything, with my curls, and like the woman was like, "Oh, is that woman your mother?" And it was like a white Hispanic lady. So like, it's like with my hair, I was still getting assumed to be for white. So, you know, that's just what I wanted to say. That was just my experiences on this topic. Take care, y'all.